What's going on, everybody? My name is Justin Gaming. So of course E3 2017 is coming up within just a little under a month, and me and the members from Gaming at its Core, of course, we started our pre-E3 coverage this week. And basically what this means is that you can expect 2 to 3 videos every single week all the way up until E3, where we will be discussing a few different variety of topics regarding to E3, of course. So yeah, I figured why not also do some of my own personal predictions. And today I'm going to be talking about the Sony conference in particular, because last year, of course, the Sony conference was absolutely amazing. I thought that everything they showed was super fun and amazing to watch, and it was like no doubt that Sony won E3 last year. And yeah, I'm definitely expecting that they're going to have another amazing conference this year. So yeah, I divided my predictions up into 5 different categories, and you'll see what those categories are once I begin the predictions, of course. But yeah, I think it's safe to say that this conference from Sony this year is probably going to be just as good as last year, if not even better. And yeah, there's just tons of amazing games here of super high quality. So yeah, I'd say without further ado, let's get straight into it. I'm going to start with my predictions. So the first one is the sizzle reel. Okay, these aren't necessarily going to be in like chronological order of when I think they're going to be shown in the conference or anything like that. These are just the 5 categories that I divided them in. So the first section that I wrote down was the sizzle reel. Now basically in the sizzle reel, I can expect some of the games you can expect are games that are probably going to be like fun to play and stuff, but I just don't think that Sony's going to be having a big focus on them. And the games I put down in the sizzle reel section are Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, GT Sport, Knack 2, and a lot of indie games. And the reason I say this is because, of course, E3 is taking place at, I think it's like June 10th, of course, and the Sony conference is being shown on June 12th, and Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Trilogy, which is the remaster, is actually coming out June 30th, I believe. So yeah, I think we're probably just going to see a few glimpses of Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. GT Sport, which is Gran Turismo Sport, of course, it's coming out, I think, at probably like at the end of the year, which is like a racing game for people who don't know. I've never played, yeah, I've played Gran Turismo 5. I played a little bit of that at, you know, a friend's house back in the days. But GT Sport, I'm looking forward to that game because driving games are fun to play, and they're just super fun to play. And of course the visuals look absolutely amazing. So GT Sport, I think it's a fun game, but I just don't think it's going to have a big focus at Sony's conference. Knack 2 is a game they announced at the PlayStation Experience last year, where they showed off a bit of Knack 2 when they announced it. And yeah, once again, I think Knack 2 is, it could be like a cool sequel, because, the first game that came out at the very beginning of the PS4 generation, I think it was quite mixed reception, and I think Knack 2 definitely has a lot of potential to improve on what the original Knack set. And yeah, so the last thing I put down, of course, was the indie games. I'm just personally expecting some indie games to be shown off in the sizzle reel. I think that the Sony conference in itself, there won't be that much room to show off too many indie games. Like last year we saw everything was big AAA quality games. There really weren't any indie games last year at the Sony conference, so I'm not really expecting too many to be shown off this year. So yeah, that's why I put the indie games in the sizzle reel. Alright, so yeah, that was the first section. I'm going to be moving on to the second section now, and this is the really interesting one because these are the exclusives that I think we're going to see more footage of. So the first one I put down was Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Now, of course, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy is the standalone game starring Chloe Frazer and Nadine Ross from Naughty Dog that's coming out later in August. And yeah, once again, we can expect that, like, of course we know that Uncharted: The Lost Legacy originally, it was planned, like, when Naughty Dog were creating Uncharted 4, they had always planned to create a single-player DLC, because that was something they had never done before, and they did with The Last of Us with the Left Behind, and they figured with the final Uncharted game, they're going to be doing one for Uncharted 4, right? But, of course, we learned that, obviously, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy became something so much more, where it became, you know, like a full game, where Naughty Dog really treated it like a full game. And there's been rumors that the game's going to be like 10 hours long, or maybe even longer, which I find absolutely ridiculous, to think that Naughty Dog's only been working on this standalone game for like a year and a half, probably. Probably less than that, but like by the time the game comes out, it'll be like around a year and a half. So I think it's crazy that, you know, a game like that, especially nowadays with PS4, I think it takes longer to make games. That this game could be 10 hours long from Naughty Dog, but it's something that's absolutely amazing. Personally, I'm expecting we're going to see a story trailer, because so far we've seen a gameplay demo when the game was first announced at PSX, and also the story cinematic scene that we got recently, like a few weeks ago. Personally, I really don't want to see Uncharted: The Lost Legacy at E3, but I think it's no doubt we're going to see it, because of course Uncharted is one of Sony's biggest IPs, and they're not going to waste the opportunity to show off Uncharted at E3. So personally, I'm expecting we're going to see a story trailer, basically show off some of the locations that we will be visiting in the game, some more of the characters, and really what this story is going to be about. And yeah, I'm saying I don't want to see more of Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, because of course, even if the game is around like 8 to 10 hours long, I'm hoping we don't see too much, because the problem I had with Uncharted 4 was that I thought that they showed off too much before the game came out, which ended up in the impact that Uncharted 4 had for me to be less than I would have liked. Because even though I definitely enjoyed Uncharted 4 like a lot, it's a 10 out of 10 game to me. I enjoyed that game so much. I thought that they showed off too much before launch, and yeah, you know, they showed off all the locations, they showed off the set pieces, everything like that. So yeah, in the end, the impact for Uncharted 4 wasn't as big that I would have wanted it, and I don't want the same thing for Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. I hope they kind of learn from that and they show off not that much in the story trailer. So yeah, alright, let's move on to the next game. So the next game I wrote down was Days Gone. I'm personally expecting that we're going to see another gameplay demo, because last year we saw Days Gone when it was first announced from Sony Bend, of course, and Days Gone is a game that I am looking forward to, but I do have my worries about the game, because the game does look really rough on the edges, even though I know I shouldn't be judging the game when the game isn't done yet. And of course, they've had a whole year to work on it since from last year. And I'm hoping we can see the gameplay demo, we can see the gameplay possibilities, and I'm hoping we see a bit more, you know, the story. But I'm just hoping that what we see of Days Gone at E3 will basically, you know, like reassure me of these problems I had that when I saw it at last year's E3, where it looked super rough on the edges, you know, choppy frame rate. There were like, so of course, yeah, there was the frame rate. And then, you know, the sound effects were absolutely terrible. They just looked really rough on the edges, as I said. So, yeah, I'm hoping we see another gameplay demo from Days Gone. And yeah, there are some rumors that the game could come out at the end of this year, which I find kind of crazy to think. But yeah, I think at the end, I personally don't think it's going to come out at the end of the year. I think they're going to wait until next year. And yeah, I'm just expecting like a release window that'll probably say something like 2018 or something like that. So yeah, that's what I'm expecting for Days Gone. The next one I wrote down is Detroit Become Human. I think we're just going to see another, you know, like gameplay trailer or whatever, like something that we saw last year at E3. We're going to see something like that again at this year's E3 for Detroit. And I also think this game is coming out in 2018. See, this is the thing, right? You know, I really don't expect Sony to release any big exclusives this year at the end of the fall anyways, but yeah, I'm expecting all these big games to come out next year in 2018. 2018 is really going to be like this big year for PS4 exclusives. But yeah, I'll talk about that some other time anyways. I think Detroit Become Human, we're going to see another gameplay trailer, and we're also going to see a release window once again, saying like 2018 or something like that at the very end. So the next game I wrote down was God of War. So of course God of War was the game they showed off last year at E3 2016. It was the game they opened the show with their orchestra. That was awesome to see. I'm just personally expecting we're going to see another gameplay demo from God of War, basically to show off the world and show off the gameplay. Probably like they'll fight an epic, like this big boss or something like that. And at the end, I'm expecting another release window that says 2018. So yeah, you can see, you know, the trend here. All these games probably gonna have a release window that says 2018 at the end. Next game I wrote down was Spider-Man PS4. This is the game being developed by Insomniac, of course. And personally, I'm expecting we're gonna see a gameplay demo, because last year we saw that short 1-minute teaser trailer where we saw Spider-Man, and this year personally I'm expecting a gameplay demo where we're going to see the open world, we're going to see the gameplay mechanics, And yeah, we're gonna see Spider-Man, basically the things that you can do in the open world of New York City. And at the end, I think we're once again gonna see a 2018 release window. Yeah, the next game I wrote down, The Last of Us Part 2, easily my most anticipated game right now, because The Last of Us I played back in 2013. It was an amazing game, and of course The Last of Us Part 2 was announced at the end of PlayStation Experience 2016. And I think that now that Naughty Dog has announced The Last of Us Part 2, they're not gonna hold back. I think they're gonna show off what they're working on. Now, we did have that debate on when The Last of Us 2 is coming, and I think that the game is going to be coming out in 2019. It is possible that it could come out in 2018, but I just don't expect it, because I still think a lot of the team is working on Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. So I think that at E3 we're going to be seeing once again another cinematic trailer for the game, but there is a chance that we could see gameplay. Here's the thing, right? If they show gameplay, it'll mean that the game is further along in development than I would have thought, and there is a chance that I think the game could come out in 2018. But if we don't see gameplay, don't be surprised if the game doesn't come out until 2019. That's all. I'm just putting that out there right now. So yeah, personally, I'm expecting we're going to see a cinematic trailer, no release window or anything like that, because I think if the game's coming out in 2019, they don't really need to, tell us that it's coming out in 2019 yet. They're just probably just going to show off the trailer. Alright, so the next game I wrote down was Death Stranding. This is the game by Hideo Kojima, of course, and we've seen 2 trailers now for Death Stranding where we're basically like mind-fucked. We don't even know what's going on. It seems super crazy. Hideo Kojima is one of these like creative minds in gaming, of course, and yeah, once again, I think we're gonna see another trailer, because I still think it's way too early for gameplay. This game's not coming out for a super long time, probably like late 2019, if not like 2020 or something like that. But yeah, personally, I'm expecting another trailer, but the thing I expect with this trailer, it's going to be more of like an in-depth trailer, unlike the other 2 trailers that we've gotten so far, because the other 2 trailers, obviously, there was no dialogue. It's just a bunch of random crap that we don't even know what's going on, tons of speculation, and I think that this time around, we're going to see more of an in-depth trailer where we're going to see more of the characters and really like what the story is about. So yeah, all right. So that was my the second section I wrote down. We're going to be moving on to the third section. As you can tell, yeah, there's tons of predictions I have here. So okay, I can be quick about the next section. PlayStation VR. Now, I don't think PlayStation VR is going to have a big showing at their press conference, but I think it will be showing off a bit, because here's the thing, right? Virtual reality is going to be like the next big thing in gaming, of course. And I think that I think the PlayStation VR, I don't think it's sold too well at launch, and people need to know that if they're going to be buying this, Sony is definitely going to support them. So I think that if they show off more games at E3 with PlayStation VR, more people will buy into getting a PlayStation VR. So I think they definitely need to show it off. If they don't, then that's really bad, because then people will be like, why are we buying this new headset if nothing's going to come out for it, if you're not going to be supporting it. And last year, of course, we did see that they supported it with big AAA games, like Batman, Final Fantasy, Resident Evil. So yeah, I'm expecting we should see some more announcements like that for PlayStation VR, but personally, I don't think PlayStation VR is going to have as big of a showing at E3 as last year. So yeah, I think we're just going to see it for a little bit, but yeah, no more than maybe like 20 minutes or something like that. So yeah, that's PlayStation VR. Alright, so the next one, which is the 4th category I wrote down, are the third-party announcements. Now, third-party, of course, we can, the cool thing with third-party this year is that Sony seems to have tons of rights to all these big AAA third-party games, which is really interesting, because right now it looks like they're literally killing the competition, because they have the exclusives and they also have the third-party support. So yeah, it seems like everything's going right for Sony right now. And yeah, these are the third-party games I think will be showing off. So the first one I put down was Destiny 2. Of course, Destiny was announced like a few months back already, or a few weeks, I'm not entirely sure. But Destiny 2, it's definitely going to be a big game when it comes out this year. And yeah, Sony, I think they do have the marketing rights, so they're going to be showing off Destiny, probably like a gameplay demo. Same thing with Star Wars Battlefront 2. Obviously, I think Star Wars Battlefront, when the original game came out, there was like loads of hype and anticipation, and in the end, I think many people were disappointed when the game came out, and I think this time they're adding like a proper story for the game, so that's cool to see. Star Wars I'm not really a big fan of Star Wars, so yeah, I doubt I'll be getting it when it comes around, but I think it's still cool to see gameplay of Star Wars Battlefront 2. I think we're once again going to see a gameplay demo, and yeah, the same thing can be said about Call of Duty World War II. As you can see, there's a lot of first-person shooters coming out at the end of this year, and yeah, I personally think we're going to see once again another gameplay demo of Call of Duty World War II. So yeah, the next one I wrote down was Red Dead Redemption. Now, Red Dead Redemption, I don't know if it's exactly going to show up at E3. My gut feeling says that it won't, and the game will be delayed to 2018 or something like that. But I'm hoping we do, because I do want to play this game at the end of the year. But yeah, personally, I don't think Rockstar is going to be making an appearance at E3, because they usually don't make an appearance at E3. And I just think that, you know, we haven't heard anything from Red Dead for so long. And yeah, I'm just expecting that we don't see anything from E3. But if we don't see anything at E3, don't be surprised if this game gets delayed to 2018. So the next game I wrote down was Assassin's Creed Origins, or Assassin's Creed Empire. I think that it's called Origins, but yeah, Assassin's Creed Origins. This is possible. It might be shown off at the Microsoft conference instead, but yeah, I just wrote this down just in case. I think that Assassin's Creed Origins has a chance to be shown off at the conference. Next one is Far Cry 5 and The Crew 2. Now, these games were recently just announced. I'm going to be talking about these games like in the future with, I think, like probably in the next video you hear from us from Gaming at its Core. We'll probably talk about this in our next pre-E3 coverage. But yeah, those two games were announced. It's possible that we could see these at the conference, but personally, I think we'll just see them at the Ubisoft conference, but I just wrote them down anyway. So yeah, those are the third-party games that I wrote down. Let's move on to the fifth and final section. So yeah, this section is of course really interesting, because these are the exclusive announcements that I think Sony will be making at this conference. And I think that the announcements this year are definitely less than what it'll be last year, because last year of course we learned basically what almost every single Sony first party studio was working on. So yeah, there are some games I still think will be shown off at this year's conference, or that will be announced. But yeah, I just personally don't expect the announcements to be as big as last year, because last year was absolutely ridiculous. They showed off like, what was it, like 6 or 7 new games that are exclusives. And yeah, so this year the game that I'm personally expecting is the Sucker Punch new game. And personally, I think it's going to be a new IP. Obviously, I've talked about this a lot on my channel, and yeah, I've been saying it for a while now. Sucker Punch, they're probably going to be showing off their new IP at E3, and personally, I'm expecting we're going to see a teaser trailer that leads into gameplay, because they've done that with past 2 years with Horizon Zero Dawn and also Days Gone. So yeah, I'm personally expecting we're going to see the Sucker Punch game, and I'm super excited for that. There's rumors that it's going to be like a sci-fi futuristic game, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see at E3. The next announcement that I wrote down was Bloodborne 2. Now, there are tons of rumors that From Software, of course, they're done with Dark Souls, but they've never said that they're done with Bloodborne. And Bloodborne was actually like this big exclusive that came out in 2015. And yeah, it was really successful. Many people enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm just expecting we're going to see a Bloodborne 2 announcement with a gameplay demo. So now, I wrote down 2 more. These have a chance, but personally, like, I don't know if they will. There's a small chance, but yeah, I wrote these 2 down anyways. So the first one I wrote down was the Horizon Zero Dawn DLC. Horizon Zero Dawn, of course, was the game that came out earlier in February, and it was a big success. I think it was the best-selling new first-party game from Sony. I think that's what they said. And yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn was a big success. I enjoyed the game a lot. I got the platinum already. And yeah, I had a super fun time playing it. And yeah, there's been rumors, of course, that the DLC is coming. Now, I don't know if the DLC is going to be shown off at E3 or PSX. We know that the actress that plays Aloy, she's already back for like mocap and stuff like that. So it's, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell if we're going to see it at E3 or PSX. But yeah, I just wrote it down anyways. And finally, the last one I wrote down was the Supermassive Games. New game from Supermassive Games, and those are the creators Until Dawn, because their game came out back in August of 2015, so it's been like almost 2 years since we've heard from them. It's possible. I don't really know if we're going to see them, but yeah, I just wrote it down anyways. I think, once again, if they make an appearance, we'll probably just see a new trailer of what they've been working on. So yeah, that's everything I wrote down. As you can tell, it was quite a long list. of tons of stuff that I think we're gonna see at E3 2017 from the Sony conference. As you can tell, I'm super excited, and I think we're gonna see tons of amazing new games at their conference. So yeah, with that, let me know down below in the comments which games you're most looking forward to, and let me know some of your personal predictions, what you think will be showing off at the Sony press conference. And with that, I'd like to thank you a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.